Welcome to the interview on France 24. At the end of March, Spain passed the most austere budget the country had seen since the death of Franco in 1975. The new Conservative Prime Minister of Spain, Mariano Rajoy, has vowed to bring down the country's deficit from 8.5 to 5.3% by the end of the year. It's a tremendous job, of course, for Spain and Spanish people. But with the economy shrinking, soaring unemployment and rising borrowing costs, Spain is once again becoming the Eurozone's biggest headache. Well, my guest today served as Minister of Foreign Affairs in Zapatero's socialist government, Miguel Angel Moratinos. Thank you for being our guest on this edition of the interview.
Thank you.
Now, as I said, the most austere budget in the recent history of Spain, according to experts, this estimated 40 billion euros are needed in budget cuts. This is, of course, a tremendous job. Is it mission impossible for Spain?
Well, I don't think it's impossible. Spain's a great country, even in these difficult times. Have a full trust and confidence in Spanish economic future, the Spanish future, and his important role in the European Union. But it is true that this policy that is being led by the Eurozone, trying to only concentrate the effort in cutting the deficit, having austerity measures without contemplating a growth policy, is a contradiction in terms. The market, the so-called market, even with this austere, as you say, most austere budget cut, reacted in a very negative sense. Why? Because they are not confident in Spanish growth. So if you cut, and you don't make any stimulus for growth, the market will continue to play with you. So it's time to play our own economic policy without being concerned about the market reaction.
When you say it's time to bring in more stimulus, very concretely, what do you expect from Spain's partners, from Germany, from France, from the Netherlands?
I think we are in the catch-22 with the Spanish case. And I think the whole policy that during the last 2 years has been implemented in Europe has absolutely been demonstrated a failure. It was the case with Greece, with Portugal, and time has come for a review of this obsessive attitude towards austerity plans. I think the United States, President Obama, have given some surplus for stimulus, for growth, and I think, well, the candidate for the French election, François Hollande, has also a plan. I mean, everybody knows that we have to make austerity measures.
So you agree with François Hollande, the socialist candidate in the presidential election,
Absolutely.
that the current treaty, the so-called fiscal compact, needs to be renegotiated?
Absolutely. I mean, and he has made a very clear proposal. They have to, without economic governance, without economic integration within the Eurozone, only with monetary measures, we will not get out of this crisis. That is not an expert in economy. I'm not an expert in economy, but I'm a politician that have the whole understanding how things move in political terms, and we need to overcome this absolutely contradictory policy.
Aren't you afraid that by renegotiating what has already been agreed, you will end up scaring the markets?
Well, first, I think François Hollande, he knows how to start the dialogue, to maintain his commitment about budgetary problems, but at the same time putting in the same equal level the economic growth and the economic governance. And have to be, there is in diplomatic terms, many mechanisms and instruments. You have not to renegotiate part of the treaty, but you have to add, you have to complement what is still not existing in this extremely difficult situation in Europe. And the market, we've been now, as I told you, during 2 years trying to calm the market. We have to calm the market. It's time that the politicians that have the responsibility to give answer to the citizens, they say, well, regulate the markets, not to calm the markets. We are, I mean, if not, if the markets are the power, well, we will elect it, you know, the person of the market to run the countries. But we are in a democratic state, and we need politicians to rule the countries with the legitimacy of the vote.
You served as Minister of Foreign Affairs in the socialist government of Zapatero when the crisis erupted. In retrospect, don't you regret that Zapatero didn't act more quickly at the time to extinguish the fire?
Well, we can't reinvent the history, but I think at this time, first, the crisis started not in Europe, not in Spain. And we went to calm the market, and we saved the banks, and we put all the capacity, and we make a expanding economy, because that was what we were asked for. When we have to readjust, because the deficit was too high, I think Zapatero and others reacted. And, well, everybody now is to blame Zapatero. But I have to recall figures. How was even with a big crisis, how 2010 and 2011, Spain started to grow again. And we reduced our budget also.
Spain is back in recession. Unemployment has reached 23%. Youth unemployment has soared to 50%. Borrowing costs for Spain are soaring as well. Don't you fear that the country is going down the way of Greece?
No, not at all. I mean, you cannot compare. I mean, it's not a question to compare Greece, Portugal, Spain. It's a tremendous country. Have universities, logistical infrastructure, capacity, the most important companies in the world. And we are absolutely confident that, well, there is this bad situation today, but I'm absolutely confident, and we have to support the effort of the government. But we are asking the government also to put some economic measures that can facilitate, you know, the growth that is absolutely necessary today.
Europe, the future of the European Union, has become a major theme in the presidential campaign here in France. Nicolas Sarkozy has vowed to overhaul the Schengen, the border-free agreement between European nations. Do you follow him? Do you think it's a good idea?
I don't think so. I mean, it's to put an end to a fantastic adventure that is called the European Union. European Union have several principles, but one is the freedom of liberties of capitals, market, products, and people. So you put barrier between people. And we put an end to what is one of the most attractive and successful policy that has Schengen, that people can go around without any constraint within the internal space and territory of the European Union. It's absolutely regression. They will not be supported by the European member state, and I think they have to reconsider this initiative. It's not good, it's not going in the right direction, and it's a regression of the positive trend that always European unions have been demonstrating from the Rome Treaty in 1957 till today.
Another proposal from the outgoing French president is to freeze France's financial contribution to the EU. He says we're in the midst of a crisis. We need belt tightening also at the level of Europe. Do you understand him?
Well, that is the question of how to finance Europe. It's also a contradiction in terms. I mean, we are going in next year, it's going to be negotiated the budget, the financial perspective of the European Union. And for the moment, the countries only contribute with 2%. No? So either we want to have a strong European Union, being a real actor in international relations, and that means that you have to change the whole fiscal system within the European Union, or you want to play your own marginal role in the world. If France wants to not to put their contribution to Europe, well, they have to think about the benefits they got from agricultural policy. or other rents and revenues that come to some French citizens thanks to the European Union itself. So either you are European or you don't want to be part of Europe.
Regarding the very chaotic situation in Mali, do you favor a military intervention, including European troops?
Well, that's happened when you intervene in Libya. That's good, the responsibility to protect. But then you intervene and then you don't make any follow-up. We all were aware of the crisis and the consequences of having a traffic of arms in the Sahel. We were calling for a European strategy on Sahel. I remember with my colleague Bernard Kouchner to our dear friend Cathy Ashton, put a European strategy on Sahel. And nobody were listening to us. Now it comes. And now we say, let's go to make intervention. Okay, we have to maintain the integrity, territorial integrity of Mali. I hope that it will be preserved, that through the African neighborhood, African nation. And of course, we have to preserve, but it's not only military intervention. You have to have a whole comprehensive plan for the Sahel. Because you intervene in Mali today, what is going to happen in Niger? Or what is going to happen in Chad? Why we have to have this absolutely destabilizing situation?
Miguel Angel Moratinos, thank you very much for taking part in the interview on France 24.
Thank you very much. Thank you to invite me.
And thank you for watching our program. Please stay tuned on our channel for more news.